I'm one of your hosts, Big Al, and with me is our co-host, Rob.
What's up, guys?
We are excited for this show. This is one we've been working towards all summer, and it's the highlight of our tribute to Men's Mental Health Month. So, but first, um, let's get into the rapper report. So, Rob, what news stories do you have today, or story?
So, with the news story today, um, EP Carrillo is going to be releasing and shipping the 2025 version of the Pledge of Allegiance. So, this is a cigar now that EP has kind of released around the July 4th holiday for the last 3 years. And it's going to be shipping to stores soon. Um, this year, it's going to have two sizes. New blend this year. It's going to use a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it promises to be fantastic. It's going to be containing. This one's going to be a little special, so they threw a little bit of a new tobacco in there. It's called P41. It's grown in Pennsylvania, and they said it has a fantastic flavor profile, a little bit different than the normal Pennsylvania broadleaf that they normally grow. Um, so EP in his press release said that this cigar is more than just a cigar. It's a tribute to America, and it's a tribute to the holiday, and it speaks to the strength and diversity that defines the American spirit. He has mentioned that he loves doing this cigar as a tribute cigar. Um, and so he said it's going to come in two sizes. It's going to be a 6x54 Toro, and then there's also going to be a 6x38, or sorry, 6 3/8 by 58 Figurado called Rockets, which is going to be only 250 boxes of 10 released. Normally, his boxes are released in boxes of box number to 1776, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Um, but the prices are going to be $22 and $30 respectively, MSRP. And last year's blend was fantastic. And so I can only see this year's blend being even more fantastic with this new type of leaf that they're using. So, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be super limited. If you could find it, cool. There's going to be places online that you could find it. So, you're going to have to look a little bit.
I gotcha. Well, funny enough, my story for today was going to be the release of the EP Carrillo
Stop.
Pledge of Allegiance. I promise. I promise. So, but yeah, well,
That's all right. Let's
then
talk about it. Let's talk about it for a
that's
hot minute.
that's it. Well, the being limited to less than 250 boxes,
Oh, yeah.
that's 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 uh that's awesome. But having the US grown tobacco
Oh, yeah.
um for the wrapper and part of the
Well,
filler,
normally they said it's an Ecuadorian growed like Connecticut binder,
right?
and they're replacing it with Pennsylvania this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's of course with a name like Pledge of Allegiance, you automatically assume that it's probably got some US grown tobaccos in it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it's also funny that if you take a look at the releases, so the regular size, the Toro is being released in 1776 numbered boxes. Cool,
right.
because it's a tribute to the year 1776, but I'm just reading here that this Figurado size that they have is being released in only 249 boxes. Um, and it's because it is the United States 249th
249th
birthday.
birthday. Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, EP loves doing this. He loves making cigars, and he makes damn good cigars. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Most definitely. And he said it's a tribute to the pursuit of dreams
Hmm.
embodied in Ernesto's incredible journey from his native Cuba to United States, where he built one of the world's most respected cigar brands from the ground up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's literally the American dream.
yeah.
So, well, and of course, the Rapper Report is brought to you by Valor Cigar Accessories. There's their V cutter.
Brand new.
Brand spanking new. I mean, we just got them in. I haven't even had a chance to get Rob his yet, so it's that new. And of course, the straight cut. And of course, this month, 10% of the proceeds go to Dogs Inc. To help sponsor a service dog. So
Nice.
yeah, so and of course now they are also offering custom engraving on the blades of the straight cut.
Yeah,
So there was one posted today that had the Dogs Inc. logo on the cutters. So
yeah.
super nice work, precision made. The three finger cigar holders, um, all of their products are top notch.
They're all made in America, in Texas.
Yeah.
If you guys want to find them, go to our link tree. Our link tree has the link to their Etsy page where you can order.
Mhm. Yeah. So, and now let's get into what's in the ashtray. And what's in the ashtray is brought to you by Bullets and Brave, makers of all sorts of custom products from cigar stands to these great cups. They've got hats. They can customize a stand with your logo um, and a variety of products. Again, another American-made company or an American-made product. Um, just another quality, top-notch accessory brand. So, Rob, has anything kind of jumped out at you?
So, as I've been saying, I went on vacation just recently. We went on a cruise to the Caribbean, and I got a chance to, pack my own cigars, and I like to, excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold, so if I, sound a little hoarse or if I sound a little congested, I'm sorry, but I'm still trying to get over it. Um, I had a chance. I pack my own cigars when I go on vacation, even though I went to Miami and I went to the Dominican Republic, so I had a chance to buy a lot of stuff while I was there. But I always try to pack one or two really nice, expensive cigars just to kind of wrap up on the trip. And what I do is I smoke it on the last night of the cruise. I smoke it on the last night of the trip, and I get to kind of sit by myself and I don't talk to anybody, and I just kind of reflect on the memories that I've made with myself, my wife, and how the trip went, and kind of just appreciate what I have. And so I kind of use this stick as like kind of a celebration. So I always like to use like a really special, important stick for this moment in time that I make for myself. And I decided to go with a cigar made by a company, Selected Tobacco, and it's a company called Alfonso, and it was their Grand Seleccion, and it's an absolutely fantastic cigar. Um, it is. It's a sequel basically to their Añejo. They have the Alfonso Añejo, which was a huge hit, and the Grand Seleccion. It's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, and it's got a Peruvian binder and Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers. And I mean, the flavor profile on this thing is fantastic. I got a lot of uh, red pepper. It was like a medium plus, full minus. So I get a lot of red pepper. I got a lot of toast, caramel, cinnamon. lavender, which was which was kind of interesting. So like a nice florality to it.
Mhm.
It had a lot of it had at points it had a lot of fruitiness to it, and like a really nice like bourbon vanilla caramel note. So I mean, the thing is constructed fantastically. Like it literally, like when I say it had like a razor straight burn line, I mean, this
Mhm.
thing just was like perfect. I mean, I don't know how else to explain, you know, Alfonso cigars. So, I mean, if you guys are lucky enough to grab Alfonso, check it out. Um, I just was in Corona Cigar Company in Florida when I was on vacation a little bit ago and was able to find a few. So I picked them up. So if you guys can find Alfonso, try it. I mean, it's a fantastic cigar brand and it's well worth literally every single penny you're going to pay for it.
Nice,
What about you,
nice.
Al?
Well, I was gifted a really, really nice cigar from the Gray Cliff Company. It was the Vintage 10.
Okay.
And of course, uh, Gray Cliff is out of the Bahamas.
Yep,
So,
made in the Bahamas. You can actually go visit their factory if you go to the Bahamas.
they have a hotel. Is that correct? Where you
Yeah,
can,
they have a hotel as well. Yeah.
they have cuisine and everything else. Um, so the Vintage 10, um, is, um, Connecticut broadleaf wrapper with, Honduran and, Nicaraguan fillers or guts. So, it's a, very rich cigar,
Yeah. It's a Maduro.
medium. Yeah, medium. Yeah, it's a, um, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I apologize. Um, it's been quite the week so far, so this is, definitely needed tonight. So, but it had notes of cedar and cocoa, but still had that earthiness. So it's a very enjoyable cigar. In fact, my son Chandler is sitting next to me here enjoying one as we speak.
All right. Chandler, what do you
So
think?
he gives it two thumbs up.
Two thumbs up. Pop your head over. Say hi.
He said, "Pop your head over and say hi."
What's up, buddy?
So yeah, it's that's my a number one smoking buddy here in town. So
All right. It's always good.
so yeah, and he says he's thankful for your generosity. He's as thankful for your generosity as I am.
Well, I got another box coming for you guys soon, so.
Sweet, sweet. So I guess that takes care of what's in the ashtray. So let's get down to the super exciting part of the show.
I love it, man. I'm telling you, I am super pumped um because of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, me and Al have been putting out these. We've actually changed our publishing schedule. So usually we publish every other week. But this month, in the month of June, we've decided to publish every week a special episode dedicated to men's mental health awareness when we talk to a number of different people in the mental health awareness field and people dealing with mental health awareness. So we're going to have people like, we talked to a therapist, Mason Good already.
mhm.
We talked to, by the time this airs, we talked to Dan Rowe from Andy's Man Club out of the UK and Wales, which is a men's mental health awareness club, almost kind of like AA, but it's like a mental health awareness group where where men get together and talk about their issues. Um, we are going to be talking to Bryce Weigel from Silent Hero, and we are actually going to be the first podcast to be able to try his brand new cigar that is dedicating profits to men's mental health awareness and PTSD, which is the 1,000 Yard Stare. So we're looking forward to talking to Bryce from Silent Hero. Um, and we're
And
doing
with for Bryce, all of his proceeds from May and June are actually going to sponsor a service dog
so we got
for
two service
someone.
dog sponsors. Gotcha.
Yes, yes. So, that's a big help
Yeah.
for a lot of people these days. So,
And then we are going to be recording a special Father's Day pipe episode where we're going to be smoking pipes and talking about our dads and talking about, what made them special and how they impacted us in our lives. So I think that's going to be really a cool special episode. But this is going to be the crown jewel for our men's mental health month of June. I've been trying to talk to Adam. Oh, wait, forget I said Adam. So I've been trying to talk to this gentleman forever. He has a company that is fantastic. He's going to tell you about it. But I got to meet him at PCA and I got him to agree to come on to the podcast. So without further ado, we are going to introduce Adam Levine from League of Fat Bastard Cigars. And I will put him on stage. Let's see if he's ready. Here he is. There we go. And Adam, thank you for joining us, brother. I appreciate you immensely. Thank you so much for agreeing to this. I'm glad we got a chance to talk at PCA and you decided to come on and share your story and talk about this really heavy topic with us. So um, thank you so much for agreeing to talk with us today.
Firstly, my apologies to you because you've been chasing me literally around the world since
It's all
PCA
right.
and hunting me down, and I feel terrible that we were supposed to do last week, etc. But anyway, I am here now, and I really appreciate the opportunity. I just want to start before I even start talking about anything. I want to talk about we think the cigar world's a huge world, right? Like there's
Yeah.
people. Let me tell you how small the cigar world is. Two people you spoke about today. Okay, EP Carrillo. So
Yeah.
Ernesto Carrillo, forget the fact that he's a legend. Forget the fact that he's one of the nicest, most humblest individuals in the world that you've ever met.
Absolutely.
We have, and I'll talk about this in a minute, a Cities L, a Cities O, which is in market. We're creating a Cities F and then a Cities B. Guess
Yeah.
who's making the Cities F for us in the
Get out of
Dominican?
here. EP.
Correct. So I'm
can't
actually,
wait.
there you go,
Can't
right?
wait.
So that's the first thing. And so I'm actually heading next week to the Dominican Republic and we're
All
sort of
right.
finalizing it and whatever. So small world. Second thing, guess who is one of my closest friends who helped me get into the business that we're in and is also going to make a special line of limited edition Lanceros for us? Paolo Garazzi from Grey Cliff Cigars, who I am also, who I am also going to
Nice.
visit, who I'm also going to visit next week when I head down to Miami. I'm going to just take the hours trip over to Nassau, and I'm staying at Grey Cliff. And
Fantastic.
Paolo's an amazing guy. His dad is brilliant. His wife is Sharon's even better. I know them very, very well, and he's again a genuinely good human being. And whilst you guys were talking about him, I took a photo of you guys talking about it. I sent a message to him, and I said, "You would not believe how small this world is." So
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
so
It's funny how that happens because, I've noticed as I've gotten deeper and deeper into this cigar world how many like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon it is. It's
oh
it's
man,
a fan it really is a fantastic thing. And back to chasing you around, it's
yeah,
funny that last year when I reached out when I first heard about LOFB,
yeah,
it was you were in the middle of releasing your Series L, so you were immensely
yeah,
busy. I know you were flying all around the world
correct,
promoting it in Miami and all across
sure,
Florida and
sure,
and left and right. So
yeah,
I'm not blaming you for taking your time to get interviews down, but I supremely appreciate the fact that
no
you've been
problem.
able to fit us in your busy schedule, and I'm
All
glad we
good,
can fit it in now. So
all good, all good, all good. One
I
other
I
one, sorry,
appreciate it.
Mason Good, by the way, Mason Good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. member of the league, and more importantly, he's going to become our first league ambassador. So he's a good mate of mine.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
that's
I'm saying,
awesome.
so it's like it's ridiculous.
Yep.
But anyway,
Yeah.
let's all it goes to show, and let's coming back to the original concept. All it goes to show is that there are some serious individuals in this industry who are seriously focused on what our core mission is, right?
Of course.
And let's be honest, our business, we're in the mental health business, right? And our mission is very simple. We want to make a positive impact on men's mental health globally.
Yeah.
We just happen to make bloody good cigars.
Fantastic.
Right?
Absolutely.
We just happen to make bloody good non-alcoholic beer that we're about to release into the market, right?
There you go.
Yes.
So all I'm saying, so I think the important thing is that our business in the League of Fat Bastards, or LOFB, we are a mission-driven company, which is why we're focused. And it's amazing that Bryce, and I know I haven't actually had a chance to meet him physically, but we've corresponded. Obviously, we're on a similar wavelength. Mason, I've spoken to a number of times, but there are people who are in the business who are happy to donate some money back and whatever, and give some money back and support in amazing ways, right?
Yeah,
it's baked into what we do. So starting at a very high level from a business perspective, 40%, as we say here on our cigars, 40% of the net profits that we make from the sale of every cigar, of the net profits, right? Not the gross, but the net profits that we make, we give back to supporting organizations on the ground that are providing recovery services, direct actionable recovery services for men's mental health. The large one that we support at the moment in the US is an organization called Boulder Crest. Boulder Crest, who are they help about 7,500 war veterans, first responders, EMT service providers on a 90-day fully immersive PSTD recovery program and mental health recovery program. So they're one of the large national organisations that we support. But what's important, and I think this is key to what we do, our mission is sort of baked into each and every cigar.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about the cigars, at the moment, well, maybe let me tell you a little bit about how it all came about. Maybe that's a good way to start before we talk about the cigars. So from my personal side, right, I'm 54 years old. I'm a first generation wealth creator. Didn't come from money. My wife is a Russian political refugee, came out to Australia with two suitcases and a parent speaking no language. I'm a descendant of Holocaust survivors personally. And luckily, I was a lawyer and investment banker, so don't hold that against me. And, made some money along the way, then went into private business. But, it was 52 years of fucking hard work is the answer, right?
Of course.
I wasn't a war vet. I wasn't a first responder. I didn't have any of those sort of what you would see as traditional sort of, external pressures. But, three children that we raised, that we were fortunate, we worked hard, went to private school, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I turned 51, I woke up one morning and I just was in tears. I just could not get out of bed. So it was like a whole world had collapsed on me. And, like any person in business, any person supporting their family, you have good times and you have bad times. I think somebody famous said, life is just, a cavalcade of shit with a couple of great days thrown in between, right? And that's the truth. And so you're dealing constantly with this shit. And I think the way that I grew up and the way that a lot of us grew up was as males, it was our responsibility to just be tough, just to get through and up. Do you know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
And this stoicism. And, the honest answer is I broke.
Yeah.
I broke. And it was a terrible, terrible situation. And like for all of the pressure that I experienced and all of that stress that I went through, I never had an outlet. I never had a real outlet to talk to people. I was always concerned about people sort of saying, oh, don't be weak, et cetera, et cetera. And I got to a point where it just came crashing down. And literally the way that my psychologist explained it to me was that, psychiatrist explained it to me was that the messaging system in my brain, basically the serotonins were unable to get the messaging across, and so therefore it's unable to deal with things rationally and was unable to control mood. And so it's actually a physiological breakdown, like you break your arm or you have a heart attack or whatever. That's what happens in your brain, right? 3 months. For 3 months, I was unable to get out of bed. I was constantly in tears. I was constantly unable to communicate with the outside world. I had some business interests that we were running at the time. My wife sort of, was supportive, obviously, but didn't know how to run these businesses. My children were still at school. They would come down, to see me cry on the couch. I'm here at my home here where this all sort of took place. They had to go off to school and be strong.
Yeah.
Got to a point after 3 months where I was so tired and I was so exhausted that I couldn't find a way out.
Yeah.
I went into the city. I sent it to the city in Melbourne. I sent a text to my wife apologising for all of the pain that I'd caused her and all of the disappointment, which is bullshit. It's not rational. But when you're in this broken state, your reality is your reality.
Your reality is distorted.
Correct. And went down. We have these trolley trams, like the old trams you call them, trolley, big fucking mass transit things. And I took a step forward. I was ready to jump in front of a tram, and I stopped. And it was sort of like I was literally one step away. But of course, when I stopped, by that stage, obviously the police rocked up and the ambulance, everything sort of went a bit haywire, obviously, because it was attempted suicide.
Yeah.
When I got to the other side of that, which is through medication, therapy, and a whole range of things, it was interesting. I sat down and I said to myself, and this is a very important lesson and a very important mindset I think a lot of people can use every day. Rather than feeling sorry for myself and sitting there and saying, shit, look at me, I've been successful, I've got a good family, a good marriage, blah, 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 blah. Rather than sitting there and feeling sorry for myself and saying, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? God almighty, why me? Why me? No. Why did this happen for me? You can take any experience, any negative experience, and you can change that experience from what is a victimization mindset, a suffering mindset, into an empowering mindset, a positive mindset, just by simply changing that word to me and then change it for me. And if anyone takes anything away from listening to this whole rant and rave of mine, take that message away, because I cannot tell you how important that is. It can happen in your daily life, like why the fuck did the car break down? Why is this person annoying me? Why did I, et cetera, et cetera. No. Why is this happening for me? What's for me? What's the positive mindset coming from it? And as a result of that, taking that mindset, and I'm not a religious person, as I said, I'm Jewish by background. I'm not a religious person, but it was like God had said to me, Adam, I saved you because you've got a bigger mission in life. So I'm just going to move this around here. And that mission is to go out and to help smash this bullshit mask of masculinity that all men wear. To go out and to help men open up and to be honest and to be real and to go deep and to be able to tell them that it's okay to talk, to be able to help them try and avoid the issues that you went through.
Yeah.
And so I thought, fuck me, right? That's pretty, like it was almost like an awakening. You know how we go through life? We go through life trying to find our purpose in life, right? And, it's this lifelong quest. For me, maybe I'm lucky, I don't know, whatever. I think I found my purpose in life. Like, this is why I was born. This is why I took that step. This is why my grandparents survived the Holocaust, was to give birth to me so that I could go and do this mission in my life. And I can only imagine it's sort of like what someone like a priest or someone like that who finds God, they can find a mission in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's sort of what it was for me. It's not religious, but it was like that. And so I thought, then how can I thought, this is fantastic. I can get out there and I can talk and whatever. And obviously, I can chat for hours, but more importantly, I need to be able to scale this mission.
Yeah.
So how do I scale it? And so I thought, well, I need to infuse it into a product or something that I can send worldwide and that people can enjoy. And then it suddenly hit me. I'd always enjoyed cigars, like since I was the age of 25. So I'm probably longer than Rob. You've been alive, to be honest, mate. You're only what, 22 or something?
No, yeah, I wish.
You know what I mean?
Multiply that by 2, and you got
anyway,
your
right?
answer.
You look young, mate. It's the baby face. It's all good. But since I was 25 and I was in London at the time, and I went into KJ Fox, which was an amazing awakening experience, to be honest.
Yeah,
into cigars, so I thought, well, okay, I don't need to convince people that sitting down and sharing a cigar is a great way to open up and chat, because we all do that when we go into a cigar bar, right? And you know, it doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire, you're a street cleaner, and it doesn't matter whether you're a police officer, whether you're a teacher, irrelevant, right? People just chat, and it's fantastic. But I wanted to use that as an opportunity to go deeper. Right. So I wanted to use the cigar experience and the conversation around cigars. I wanted to infuse that concept of going deeper. So rather than me walking into a bar and saying, "Hey, Rob, hey, Al, how you going?" You guys saying, "Yeah, good. No, bullshit, mate. Like, how are you really going?" Because I know I'm fucking stressed. I know that I've got cash flow issues in my business, and I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I'm vomiting, and I've got expenses coming out of my ears, and I've got my kids jumping up and down. Right. So it's the opportunity to go deep, because there's this very important social concept that when you have a conversation with people, he who goes deeper sets the tone, right? Yeah. And so if I set the tone really deep, everyone else will feel what is known as permissioning. So they feel that they have the permission to open up. And so the idea is to use our cigars, any cigar, but particularly our cigars, as a reminder that this is a great time. And then I thought, well, that's great, because I can scale the message that way, but how do I make an impact? Because I know that affecting men's lives or impacting someone's life actually has to happen on a person-to-person basis. So you can spread a message, that's fine. But as Mason will tell you, and as Bryce will tell you, and as any of the other guys, passionate about what we do, will tell you, it's a one-to-one. You got to save someone one-to-one. And so I thought, well, maybe what I need to do is I need to be able to fund on the ground, direct human one-to-one service delivery solutions, not just charities, not just organizations, but actual one-to-one direct interventions. And that's where the concept of the 40% give back of the net profits is. And people sort of say, shit, that's a lot of money. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it fits perfectly with my principles of being what I call a socialist capitalist, right? I believe that businesses should not only be profitable, that should not only make a return for their investors, which is what the other 60% does, right? But it should also back and contribute to society, right? Yeah. So, I felt that was the right sort of balance, essentially. 40% going back to the cause, 35% going out to investors, and sort of 25% staying in the company, because we don't have huge overheads. I run things very tight and very light capital light, so we can afford to run it that way.
Yeah.
So in the space of about, 12 minutes there, guys, I've given you my whole life story. I've told you about the cigar. I've told you why we are, and I reckon we're done. So that is a good time, can I just say, for me to open up, and I will do this, and let me see if you can hear this. So this is my LOFB non-alcoholic, which is why I can have it at 11:30. Can you guys hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Wait. Right, this is a non-alcoholic hazy IPA. Look at the head on that.
Wow.
Right?
Beautiful.
Even if it tastes like shit, I was going to tell you it tastes amazing, and you would have no idea. The reality is, it tastes fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And being an Aussie, I know beer. So anyway, there you go.
For sure. Well, funny you say that, because we actually, that was one of our stories from a few episodes back.
Yeah.
When we found out it was coming out. So
Yep.
We have really wanted to push push the league. We are both members of the chat groups.
We'll talk about that. Don't waste that.
Sorry.
Don't waste that question.
Jumping ahead.
No worries.
So who are you partnering with for the beer?
Yeah, so we have a group in Orlando. I don't want to mention their name. That's sort of confidential, but
that's fine. Sure.
Yeah, no, because the reason why I say it is because they're quite a well-known, very large operation. and they've basically jumped on board in a very similar way to Joya de Nicaragua did, with the cigars, right, being well known. So what's important for us is in choosing our partners in every product that we create, they must be best of breed.
Yeah.
So the quality of the product that we produce is just as important as the mission that we're on, because we know that we can sell the first lot because people will buy into the mission, but they won't come back and repurchase unless the product is good, right? And that's the same with cigars, same with the beer, same with some other products we're going to release. So the answer is it's based in Orlando, or in fact, the head office is based in Orlando. But they have multiple brewing facilities around the country. Very, very, very large organization. Don't do a lot of third-party brewing, to be perfectly honest. But they were, like Hoya jumped on board, and we spent some time working with them around that, a lot of different samples, and it'll hit the market probably in about 6 weeks.
Now, it's funny you say that. So Hoya, so you picked your beer guy. And Hoya, who actually just won from one of the largest cigar publications, they actually had the #1 cigar this year, the Cinco de Cinco. So,
which is that's an amazing cigar.
Which is and so I'm overjoyed that you actually partnered with Hoya for your cigars.
Yep.
Now, before we talk about your cigars, so League of Fat Bastards is a kind of a interesting name, to say the least. Now, people are like, oh, that's kind of a crazy name. So how did you come up with League of Fat Bastards as your name for your cigar brand?
Okay, so what I did not do is I did not do a lot of research, and I did not do a lot of testing. I sat down and I suddenly thought, fuck it, it's a good name, right? I don't care. I'm that sort of guy, and particularly when we're in this mission. So, but in all seriousness, no, the whole concept was I wanted to find a new way for men to chew the fat. Yeah. So chew the fat is an Aussie word, and Americans sort of understand it now. Chew the fat is have a conversation, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so a league, I thought, well, we could call it, the club, the organization, the blah, blah, blah. But league sounded to me like it was a more important, a more sort of high end, like there was a couple of films that were interesting about the League of
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. There's a couple of other those sort of things. That's correct. Yeah, a few of those sort of things, right? Justice League, that sort of concept, right? So I thought, that sounds a little bit more important. And a bastard, in Aussie sort of words, a bastard is just someone who's, it's not an unfriendly term. It's just it's a harsh term, but it's a term that actually just refers to someone who just doesn't care and just speaks the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like bastard. But it's not like he's a dickhead or he's not like that. Do you know what I mean? He just talks openly. And, you think about like the Winston Churchills of the world and these sorts of guys and the fat bastards and, the image of, and it all just sort of played, right? And so I thought, League of Fat Bastards, and I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. But I tell you what's really interesting, Rob, was that when we launched it, which was in February last year. So we're only 18 months old now, right, as a brand, which is amazing. But, when we launched it, the most amazing feedback that I got was from how many men, right, said, yeah, that's a club for me. I belong to that club.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were sort of self-depreciating themselves a little bit around maybe their physical stature. But obviously, there's no intention. For a start, we have plenty of females who are members of the league. And we have tall, skinny guys, and we have big, fat guys, and we have short, squat guys, and we have whatever guys. It's irrelevant, right? And we have the people that are transgender, and we have people that are going through changes and transitioning and a whole lot of things, right? So I think one of the things that's really important about the league, Rob and Al, is that we don't see color, we don't see race, we don't see religion, we don't see sexuality. We see the human, right? And that's really important, right? That's really, really important to me. And you would have known from the chat groups, you would have seen if anyone starts to go down a particular pathway of promoting something that is pushing a particular ideology or is pushing or is, I'm not going to say politically incorrect, because that's not the case, something that is potentially offensive to someone, right? Because who the fuck decides what's politically correct? I can't stand that.
Of course,
Whether it's offensive or That's the question. Then they're cut off. Like there's just no
Yeah.
two ways about it. Full stop. You know that, and I'm very strong on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about your cigar. So you said before you're doing the so right now currently you have released the Serie L, which
Yep.
is your medium cigar.
Yep.
You have your Serie O, which is your Maduro cigar.
It's not a Maduro. It's just to be clear, it's not a Maduro. So it's a San Andreas, but it's a like a darker wrapper. It's not a Maduro. It's one below Maduro. It's not a Rosaro. It's between Rosaro and a Maduro. But anyway.
And then you at PCA you launched your Skinny Bastarda, which I thought was fantastic. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit what your cigar lines are going to look like. So tell us a little bit about how you design these lines.
So what was really important to me, and I think this is actually really key. So as I say, I'm in the business of creating a sustainable business that supports mental health. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So before I even started the business, unlike maybe some other people in the way they went about it, which was just full on passion, which is fantastic. I set it up as a proper business, invested a lot of time and money, and importantly time around getting what I would call the family of cigars, the brand imagery, the concepts, the colors, all of the details up front and right. And I engaged some of the best people in the world, quite literally, to assist me with that. And so that really helps formulate essentially the family, right? Which is because I already knew in my mind that it wasn't going to just be with cigars. I was going to move into non-alcoholic beer as a vertical. We're going to move into, interestingly, things like fragrances, so room incense, candles, men's fragrances. We're going to move into some things like multivitamins as well, right? And things like that. So these are all good for you sort of stuff. But anyway, so it had to cut across. So for the cigars, we have the four key hero lines, if you want. So we have the Serie L, we have the Serie O, we have the Serie F, and we have the Serie B. Yeah. So the ones that are in market exactly as you say right now are the Serie L, which I call the Goldilocks blend. Not too heavy, not too light, not too spicy, not too creamy.
It's a great blend, great medium blend.
Thank you. And I think we were rated 91 with that in Cigar Aficionado, which was unbelievable. That was for the Churchill, actually. And then the Serie O, we wanted to take it the next level up. So the Serie O with the San Andreas wrapper, we have a slightly heavier Ligero component. We also have a Piloto Cubana binder, which is really important because the Piloto Cubana binder of itself creates a heavier mouthfeel, as I call it. So, and it has a meatier style. It's more of a hors d'oeuvre style, right? Maybe from a wine perspective into a Cabernet sort of Merlot sort of style. Whereas the Serie L is more of your Pinot Noir, heavier, sort of brighter Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Sort of the way to position it. Serie F, as I say, we're doing with EP Carrillo, which is amazing. And it's funny about the P41. So, yes, we're using some of that.
Nice.
So to see how that goes. And Serie B, we haven't yet formulated yet, to be perfectly honest. And we don't know where we're going to do that yet. So that's up for grabs. But outside of that, we wanted to produce some special releases. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the special releases, we always knew we wanted to do one for the women because the reality is that we're not in any way disregarding mental health issues for women, but at the same time,
Correct.
I mean, unashamedly, we're focused on men, but we know how important cigars are in supporting men through these processes.
Absolutely.
And so that was the idea behind Skinny Bastarda. But I thought, my God, there is only one company in the world that I want to make this Skinny Bastarda with, and it's Quesada, right?
With Raquel Quesada.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? And Patricia, made by the women for the women who support men. That's what it is, right? And the design and the concept behind it was to create. It's a serious cigar, right? So, did you get an actual cigar, Rob?
I did not because I think
we
the point
didn't have them, that's right.
You didn't have them yet. You only had the boxes.
Yeah. So there you go. So. This is a cigar. I'll have to get some to you. I'll get Eddie to send some to you.
Appreciate it.
But so this is a serious cigar. Do not ask me the blend because the girls won't tell me. It's secret women's business. I promise you. You have to beat them up, right?
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
beautiful, the beautiful thing about this, and I don't know whether you can see this, is that we're doing it as a joint marketing. So we've got the Casada brand there, we got the LOFB brand up there, right? And you can see
The
the whole
boxes were
design.
really nice. Oh, the boxes
Yeah,
were
Yes.
gorgeous.
yeah, and look, and they're designed essentially to look like a lipstick box, essentially.
Yep.
And so I think they
Okay.
retail, or they will retail for about $8, something like that, MSRP. And we'll sell them in packs of 5. And basically, the girls can just put them in their handbags and whatever. But the idea was to say thank you and to create an opportunity for women to sit with their male counterparts to
Yeah.
enjoy a serious cigar and have a conversation. So that's where we are right now. We're working, as I say, and again, I haven't told anybody this, so you guys are the first to hear this around the opportunity with Greycliff.
Yeah.
An interesting fact on cigar manufacturing. So Palo's cigar manufacturer, his roller,
Yeah.
Abel's father used to make the original Trinidad cigars
Okay.
personally for Castro.
Wow.
Wow.
And
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
So Abel's father personally used to keep the cigars in his room every night. So he would sleep with the cigars, and whenever Fidel needed cigars, his father would bring him cigars. So I
Wow.
don't want to tell you the Vitola size or the style that we're going to create, but you can imagine the homage we might think about paying.
That'd be
For the,
fantastic.
yeah. So anyway, so that's it. The one thing I am also very proud of, I'm sorry, and I've got to show you this, is the Giggly Piggly, which is our Vitola. So this is the 60x4.
Okay.
So it's our own Vitola that we call the Giggly Piggly, with a little pigtail, like rose pigtail at the
Yeah.
bottom. And this is an unbelievable. So this is the Cydia L, right? Giggly Piggly,
Okay.
which wasn't released originally when we released the
No,
Cydia L.
it was just originally an O, correct?
Correct. And we've backdated it, so to speak, to release
Okay.
it in. And we've done that because we've just keep selling out of this bloody Series
Yeah.
O. Right? It's
I heard how
ridiculous.
many people love the cigar. Yeah.
It's impossible to find. Like even I can't get it. It's ridiculous. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So this is one of like a couple of that I've got, the Cydia L. But it was originally intended, to be honest, as a something I was going to do particularly for the police force.
Yeah.
The Giggly. But it became so popular that I thought, no, I'm going to open it up to the market. So anyway, yeah. And the Cydia O cigars that we've released, we got a 92 rating from Cigar Insider, Cigar Aficionado.
Yep.
And that was recent. So I think the thing that makes me proud, and you'll see how I refer to myself as the proud founder, because I am very proud of what we do. The thing that makes me proud is that I'm able to produce a quality product that people enjoy that does good for others. That's an amazing feeling, just quietly.
It's fantastic because it's not only do you have pride in your work, but being able to kind of sit down and watch your development, because I had already been into cigars when you started pushing it on the market.
Yep.
And it's been amazing watching you grow from where you started in February of last year to kind of where you are now,
Yeah.
and how good your business is doing.
Mm.
And frankly, I think it's fantastic. I mean, and for such a great cause. And when I heard you guys were donating 40% of your profits back to men's mental health
Sure.
organizations,
Sure.
I immediately reached out to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that, but it was probably within the first month that you had started, pushing your cigars. I was like, listen, I don't care what it takes, but I would love to talk with you, get you on the podcast, get you on my channel, and just to be able to talk about this issue, because it's such a big issue, and I'm glad people are now starting to talk about it more and more and more. And then with you making this fantastic product, I've just been blown away where you've been able to kind of advance your business to the point of where it is now, where you guys went to your PCA. Was that your first piece? This was your first PCA this past year, right?
This was the first one we'd exhibited at. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
The one in Louisiana.
So I mean, and you guys didn't do anything flashy, but you had a really powerful message, and I think you reached so many people. And I saw your booth busy the entire PCA
Yeah.
weekend. So
I think the best thing, we got the opportunity through the PCA itself, who have sort of not jumped on board, but who were really supportive of us and what we're doing. They gave us an opportunity to, I don't know whether you were at the sports bar that night.
I was, I was at that party where you were able to
where I was
sponsor
able
the
to
table.
talk,
Yep.
And I think that was probably for me the most powerful opportunity, to be perfectly honest, because again, it's about one to many to spread the message. And I think the other thing that I must acknowledge, and this is, I always do this, I am the proud founder, but I'm just one human being, and I have a team of people, an amazing group of individuals who are just as committed, who are just as passionate. And that's not just individuals that work in the business, right? Because we only have 7 people that work in the business, but it's all of our suppliers, it's our distributors, it's our people that work in logistics for us. Everyone's just amazing. And I know, very early on, I know what I know, and most importantly, I know what I don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And I rely on others to help me on that. And so I have to put my trust in those people. But in this business, it's a little bit easier to trust those because they come with good intentions. People who are involved with us have good intentions. And you can see that you can see that and feel that in their eyes and their heart, So it's a great business to be in. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking hard. Costs a fuckload of money, right? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I've put in a lot of personal money, and I'm very grateful and very thankful that I have some other people some investors that are supporting us in our cause. They're not looking for a financial return because they know that's way off, but they just believe in the mission and want to be part of making a change, which is fantastic.
Now, with after you've created the cigars, you talked about your personal struggles and all that kind of stuff. So the cool thing is after you guys were on the market for a while, probably about 4 to 6, I think it was about 6 months ago, you started a support network. And why don't you tell our viewers about this support network that you created? Because as you said before, Al and I are both part of this support network. And so why don't you clue people in on this support network, what it is, what it's all about?
Sure, thank you. Again, I think this is just part of the community that we're looking to build, right?
Of course.
So there's no cost, there's no fee, there's no nothing.
Nope.
The idea is that by joining up through our Instagram page, you are, which is Love LOFB. So the word love, LOVE, LOFB. You are able to connect with like-minded individuals who are there to support you. These are people that you don't know. These are people who are quite genuinely, people from around the world, different countries, different religions, different backgrounds, who are seeking an opportunity and a platform for communication. And I think we've found that that's growing quite quickly, to be perfectly honest. We are finding that there are individuals who are very open. There are some who are quite genuinely suffering, and you might have seen some communications where we've referred them specifically to 24-hour helplines. We now have, interestingly, on our website, a page that you can go to where you scroll over. This is just for the US at the moment, where you scroll over the state, and it will come up, whichever state you're in, it will come up with contact details of 24-hour emergency care, mental health emergency care services for anyone in the US. So the idea behind it was just really to create an avenue, an outlet for people to have conversations. We do have to monitor it carefully.
Of course. You have moderators that moderate the page and all that stuff.
Theo moderates it, and I check in it, obviously. It's not about, as I had recently, someone who was trying to get some money to get from one side to the other. And I just got rid of him in 2 seconds. I said, that's not what it's about. We had someone who was trying to push a particular, very strongly, a particular religious belief. And I said, well, if there are lessons that can be learned from your particular religion, whatever it might be, that are applicable to everybody? Absolutely, because a lot of
Yeah.
people find religion as a great solace and as a great
Yeah.
pathway, right, in terms of dealing
Yep.
with life and mental health. So I'm happy with that, and we can all learn from other religions, right? So
Hmm.
as I say,
Right.
I'm happy to learn from whatever religion. Doesn't matter to me. So I think that's what we do. We're probably you're going to see some expansion of that soon. In terms of some more direct conversations, some more direct intervention opportunities. There's some stuff that we're doing that I don't want to sort of talk about just yet, but that will actually change the landscape of how mental health services are delivered. And it's an adaptation of some technology that will hopefully assist people in triaging, not in ongoing solutions, but certainly in triaging problems. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the chat group's really important to us. We love engaging, people sharing their running, and people are sharing their
Hmm.
size routines, and people are sharing their conversations, and it's great.
Yep.
It's really good. It's
Yeah,
fantastic,
it's
mate.
a spot. It's a spot to be open.
Yeah.
It's nice to. I mean, I haven't had to vent about anything
Ah,
yet, but I certainly have engaged with people.
mm,
Ideas for getting out frustration and
mm,
being able to distract yourself and it's been such a fantastic opportunity just to kind of connect with people you don't know and
no,
just kind of sit and talk about life and talk about struggles that
absolutely.
even though somebody living halfway around the world, I can connect with a brother there and say, hey, I may not know you and I may not have ever met you before, but I have gone through what you've gone through, and this is what I've seen and this is what's helped. So, and it's really a fantastic tool that people can get hooked up with when they, uh, hook up with League of Fat Bastards.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
the other interesting thing, Rob, just quickly, is um, it's interesting because it's funny because you don't really know how old the people are that, like, 'cause we don't know a
mm-mm,
lot of,
Yeah.
but sometimes given what they're talking about and where they are. So there's some guys who are like 17, 8, well, not 17, but 18, right? We make sure they're over
Yeah.
18, but got 18 and above who are at university and struggling with issues, right? So these aren't just
of
necessarily
course.
guys in their mid 40s and whatever, right?
Yeah.
As you would have seen on the conversations, there are some guys who were
Hmm.
at university, they were finishing, they didn't know what to do afterwards, they're lost in life,
Yeah.
and that's what it's for, man. That's what it's for.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
Now,
and I've
go
even
ahead, Al.
seen some of the guys in their 60s and 70s talking
Yeah,
about things they're dealing with their grandchildren,
yeah,
Yeah.
who are older teenagers. So yeah, it's really eye-opening, and um, it's just another way to make sure we feel like we're not alone in the things that we go through.
that's what
Yep.
it's. It. I mean, and that is exactly this concept of creating a community, of this permissioning concept. It's exactly what it's about, because I didn't have this way to let it out. I didn't have this way to have this
Yeah.
conversation. I'm sure there was something there. I'll be honest with you, but I didn't know where to go. I didn't have
Yeah.
an interest that directed me down a path. So for us, the cigars are a vehicle,
Hmm.
right? To be honest,
Yep.
it's a
Yeah.
It's
vehicle.
it's funny because I've always called one of the things I refer to cigars as is the great equalizer.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
you said before, like in the very beginning of the interview that we were doing, where you can be a CEO of a company all the
yep,
way down to a garbage man or whatever. You could both be sitting there smoking the same exact cigar and sitting in a lounge together sharing stories. So,
absolutely, man.
it's nobody's special when it comes to cigar lounges. We're all human beings when we sit down together.
And nobody's special when it comes to mental health because we're all human beings at the core. And that is
Yep.
exactly the same. That's a great. I'm going to borrow that line. That's a great line. Right. I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
Nobody's special in the cigar lounge, and nobody's special is because we're all just human beings, man. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
That's it.
It's good.
But, Adam, honestly, it's been a blast sitting down talking with you. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure watching your business grow and watching you reach so many men and just being able to watch this community flourish. It's been fun Talking to you at PCA was a blast, and talking to you here was fantastic, and we can get you out to many, many more people.
Well, man.
Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share to viewers? If anybody who's struggling, or if you want to say something
Yeah.
poignant.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think the first thing is there are many men, and again, unfortunately, I'm not. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. The reality is, I can only talk from a man's perspective because I'm a man, so
Yeah.
I'm talking from a personal
Right.
perspective, right? So I'm not in any way disregarding the feelings of, but there are many men that are out there that are suffering. I think the first thing that I would say is just do not be afraid to reach out to anyone. It doesn't matter who
Mhm.
it is. Do not feel that. Do not feel embarrassed about it. It's okay not to be okay. And I'm borrowing that line from plenty of places that say that sort of
Of
stuff,
course.
Sure.
right? So I think that's number one. Number two is, and as I said, if there's one thing anyone takes away from today's conversation, it is this principle of reflecting on an event and saying to yourself, well, why is this actually happening for me? Not why is this
Mhm.
happening for me? Why is this happening for me? Because I think having just even those small positive moments of positive mindsets, you can see opportunities. A door closes, but others open. It's the same concepts, right?
Yeah.
You're personalizing it. So I think that's a really, really important mindset. Outside of that, I would just sort of say be kind to each other. If somebody reaches out to you and needs help, please accept that help. I appreciate that none of us, well, I shouldn't say none of us, but the vast majority of us are not medical professionals. We don't know necessarily how to deal with it. But sometimes just being there for someone, not
Yep.
telling them what to do, just literally sitting with them, enjoying a cigar, enjoying
Absolutely.
an NA beer, just going for a walk, like seriously
Yep.
going for a walk, that's enough. So don't think that you don't have the power to assist others. Everybody has the power to help someone. Just the smallest thing can make a huge difference. But outside of that, guys, I want to thank you for the opportunity. As you can see, I can talk for hours about it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'm on a mission. It's become a life mission. I am very, very, very proud. There are many, many, many people that we've helped, but most
Mhm.
importantly, there are many people out there who still need help. And so it's all about growing. It's all about self-sustaining our business. The harsh commercial reality is we need to sell product in order
Of
to give
course.
back, in order to achieve our mission. That's the reality. And so, having great product that people enjoy and that gets good ratings is really important for us. And yeah, I just wish everybody, the best of health and God bless everybody. So yeah.
Al, you have anything final to say?
Well, and something that I want to touch on that Adam said about not why is this happening to me, why is this happening for me? I've had a couple of situations in my life that were not not good for me at the time, but I've tried to learn from those situations, and am I being prepared to help somebody else down the road?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just questioning why is this happening to me, we may be being prepared to do good for others. And I just, like I always say, I hope you win the battles you tell nobody about. Um, and of course, the new one that I've seen is it's not man up, it's speak up.
Yeah, it's great. That's really cool, man. I love that one.
So thank
Might
you.
And
steal that one.
then
I might
It's
steal that
not
one.
it's not original. I stole it myself. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
it's
I'm
good.
sure
Man,
the more it gets shared, the more we get it out, the better it's
that's
going to
it.
be.
It's what they call. What do they call that? Open source or something? Like what do they call
yeah,
that?
there you go, open source.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for me, it's make sure you check in on your friends.
Mm,
If
mm.
especially if they ask you for help, don't.
Oh,
There have been a couple times in my life uh where things have happened where just help didn't get offered it and just issues arose from it. So if so, just be that ear that is there to listen when somebody needs it. Um so from the Lounge Life podcast, I'm Rob, and we are joined with Al. and especially Adam, thank you so much for joining us. Before I let you go,
Yep.
we're gonna end our recording. We'll chat for a few minutes,
Sure.
but we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and if you need help, the national hotline for getting help is dial 988. That is the national hotline for the United States. You can get through on that line anywhere in any 50 United States. So if you need help, please tell somebody, tell a friend, dial 988, whatever you need to do. Don't ignore it. And you matter. Just know that you matter, and the world is a
Most
better place with
definitely.
you in it. So we'll see you guys next time, and we look forward to presenting the next episode in our men's mental health awareness series. So we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, mate.
Peace, guys.